Oh yeah, squatters, chop has going. We are back. Still continue to engage. I have been thinking, Oguti, have we ever actually asked ourselves, Oguti, why EFF dropped its performance on the last elections? I have been thinking about it, and I've been cracking my head. Actually, what caused the EFF to drop in their performance? I mean, every political party leader wants to grow, and on every election you want to grow, you want to perform better than the previous one and all of that. And so I have been thinking about it. Actually, what are the reasons why the EFF actually? Because EFF, we as audiences, we had hopes that this one will continue to dominate, Hey, abalata, ANC, muna iba Kenya pressure, muna fihlile the government in waiting, muna, and all of that. And so, all of a sudden, EFF drops performance. Now, in my view, I have come to conclusion of three things. There's three factors which has actually caused EFF to drop on its performance. Number one, EFF undermined MKP. They didn't see MKP coming, MKP, remember they went to election even without constituency, nothing. And Julius took it for granted, by the way. And it was a hit. It was a hit and run, by the way, because as much as he undermined the MKP showed him what we can do better than you with your constituency and everything, 7 cardinal pillars and all of that. And then now, if you take a closer look, last year, which was 2023, 16th December, Msholozi endorsed MKP. And that's when ANC also started to have issues of the IP, Barke IP, or no, this is our brand and all of that. They were frustrated, they jumped the tables, Ramaphosa sending Fikile Mbalula all over to KZN, what. ANC Leona man is not politically strategic. I mean, sending Fikile Mbalula to KZN, Africa, and then now the followers, and they were confused about MKP more rally because he believed by saying Kwaza Mkondo, he was referring to Mkondo wa ANC. They get an interpretation of Mkondo wa MKP. By the way, let's leave that. I'm focusing on this one here. EFF. Number one, they undermined MKP. Zuma was very politically strategic. In fact, he's a strategist because he endorsed and said, I'm not going to leave ANC. And he gave them a headache. And remember, ANC was busy with court and everything. And EFF, Leona Kamo, they are busy campaigning and what. They never saw MKP coming. And then Tina, because we are on the ground and then our ears and eyes are everywhere on the ground. I remember seeing this guy who once said to me, I'm not going to vote. All of a sudden, I know, I'm going to vote. Hey, man, when you said you're not going to vote, the government is not doing anything and all of that, but it's a corruption. No. There's MKP. I'm going to vote for MKP. I was like, hey, the tables are about to turn here. Okay, people have a little bit lost faith in the EFF. I'll tell you why, by the way. On my second point, it will explain why I'm saying people have actually a little bit lost faith in the EFF. MKP knocked the support of the EFF. It's a fact, especially in the KZN area. EFF didn't see a game there. Whoop, still whoop. That's what actually happened. Number two, when you are a political leader, you need to choose your words very, very, very wisely. I still, even today, blame Julius Malema for uttering a statement of saying he doesn't want a xenophobic vote. You see that statement? That statement was very, very malicious. And then at some point, as a political leader, when you do things like that, and then your comrades are all cozy, they don't call you into order. Hi, comrade Bella, man, you're out of order, man. You can't say this. Let me talk about specifically this issue of xenophobic and all of that. We know that South Africa is facing those issues already. There's immigrants and whatsoever and what. But for him, as influential as he is, he should not have issued a statement of saying he doesn't want a xenophobic vote, because I think that statement has actually offended the voters. And everywhere you go, people were saying they feel like Julius Malema has abandoned them, and then he's taking sides and all of that. It's a sensitive issue, by the way. And for him to say he doesn't want a xenophobic vote, it was uncalled for. He should have at least withdrawn that statement. And then there are better ways to deal with that. And at some point, Julius Malema said, immigrants should find other ways of getting into the country illegally. You can't be a leader and mislead people or issue such reckless statements like that. I think those statements also have cost him at the polls, because people turn their back away with, if this is how you're going to handle this issue, then we are out of that. I'm someone who promote Africanism, and number two, I'm someone who actually wants all of us as Africans to unite. But there are better legal ways to do that. We can't promote illegal immigration, because when there's illegal immigration, there's going to be, remember, these people, they come, they flock into our country, right? And we don't blame them, by the way, because circumstances at their countries are forcing them to leave their countries. Nobody in their sane minds would just decide to leave their country when they are employed, they are living nice life and all of that. The circumstances are forcing these people to leave their countries and come to our country. But at the same time, promoting illegal immigration, because these people, when they come here, they want to survive. They want to have a life. And number one, they are unemployable because they don't have IDs, they don't have passports, they don't have nothing. And number two, they still want to survive. They still want to eat on a daily basis and all of that. And how are they going to survive? So there's going to be obviously chaos there. And that might also impact on the crime rate. If they can't be employed, and they rather commit crime. They rather resort to committing crime so that they can survive, because there's no other option. Let's just face the facts. They will resort to that. So actually, Julius Malema, with his statement, he was actually promoting chaos, and that is a reckless statement. So that has also impacted on the performance of the EFF. I think at some point, if maybe his comrades called him into order, because he repeatedly uttered those kind of remarks, whereby South African citizens were offended by his statement, and they said, no, we're not going to vote for him. He should have actually clarified that in that sense. And then the third point, which has caused EFF to lose more votes, to actually decline in the performance, was his own comrades. His own comrades betrayed him. There's no way when MKP is there, and you've had Abu Dalimpofu say, we tried to sit down with Julius Malema and told him that, listen, let's join forces with the MK. In fact, the Dalimpofu and Floyd Chivambo, their plan was to have Julius to be convinced to join the MK. When they go to the polls, then they take over the government, which could have easily been possible. But now, who is joining who? You can't say a 10-year or 11-year-old party must join a 6-month-old party, which doesn't even have constituency, by the way. So it was those moments where they are sitting in between the fence. But now, his comrades, by so saying, they had already made decision that they are pushing with MK. And I think somehow at some point they were having maybe backdoor meetings with Msholozi and trying to orchestrate the whole thing. And Julius Malema unfortunately didn't pick that up, because you remember at some point, Julius Malema sent Floyd to KZN. That moment when Floyd was in KZN, I think they cooked the whole thing. Because even if you can check the vibe was not really good. The EFF didn't stand any chance to actually win the voters' heart at KZN. I mean, that province is MK. It's done. It's non-negotiable, that one, because they still believe their leader is Msholozi. And for the fact that he has started MKP, I think that gave them more power, more reasons to say, no, we don't want EFF. Remember, those people there in KZN, they disowned ANC, but they were still looking for a political home. And in the meantime, they were in the EFF. And so as the MKP started, all of them moved to MKP. So those are the reasons that actually caused the EFF votes. It declined on the performance. And as a leader, you should be worried when your party performs poorer than the previous elections. And then for the fact that his own comrades sold him, it's a fact, that one. It's non-negotiable. The Dalimpofus and the Floyd Chibambos have known way before the elections, Sugutibona, they want to belong to MKP. It was just a matter of time for them to jump the ship and go to MKP. That was so sad. But actually, the second statement, the second point which I made about the xenophobic vote and all of that, I think that was very irresponsible for the CIC to issue that statement. And then I hope Uguti, going forward, he will actually do what we call self-correction. Uguti, that statement, he will try to, to work around it, not to blatantly say it in public. Because remember, when you are a public figure, someone like Julius Malema, whatever he says goes. I mean, people, they follow you and they believe in what you are saying. So whatever the remarks that you issue on a public television, public platform, people will follow. I mean, you can remember the late King's Wellington in KZN. If he tells his people to do something, they'll do exactly that, because he was powerful, he was influential. And someone in that position, yes, we believe what he shouldn't really issue such statements, especially in public, because you offend the same people who are supposed to vote for you. And that was just a wrong political move, you can't say that, even if you feel like saying that, but you can't say that in public. And then you always need to be loyal to your people. Don't flip-flop. Don't change around. Today you say this, tomorrow you say something else, and all of that. So it's so sad that, but I believe the EFF still stands a chance to do what you call self-correction and reflect on itself, actually, where did they go wrong, and so they can get ready for the next election, because on the next elections it's going to be very tough. Wafa get top 8, and then whoever doesn't participate, doesn't work hard on the ground and to convince people, to vote, and they will continue to decline. Even the ANC, I mean, where it is now, in 2029, I don't see it rebuilding itself and reconstructing itself. And they are bound to fail, by the way. It's so sad, because the leaders are blind. They can't see anything. So for the fact that they don't do self-correction, they will still continue to decline. They will still continue to fail. People like Figide Mbalula, they receive instructions from Ramaphosa, and they do whatever he tells them to do without even asking any question. Why are we doing this? How can we approach this? Because in the first place, for them to have a squabble with Ubabu Begintolo, they in KZN. That time is running KZN, ANC KZN there. So if they make him angry, he will take all the masses to MKP. And ANC will suffer. It will suffer. It will bleed membership and support and everything. So I don't think, I'm just praying for them not to cause that chaos, because they will never recover. They will lose KZN forever, and they will never ever recover, because if you look at the IFP doesn't really dominate in KZN more than the MKP. MKP is in charge. So imagine someone like Begim Tolo moves to MKP, and it's going to be a mess, man. They are going to get outright majority, especially provincial, and they will run that province. And now ANC will be history. It will belong to the dustbin. It will be one of those liberation movements which has failed its own people and has lost moral compass, man. It's so sad, man. But EFF, for them to drop at the polls, the performance there says a lot. The leader, CIC, must fix that party, and he has got a lot of work to do, especially on the ground. They have to go back to people to say we are sorry, and then we acknowledge our mistakes. Or if they continue to behave like ANC, Batlabona dust. Thank you, the squatters. That's my opinion. Sure.